From this viewpoint, Strathbran unfolds ahead of you. In the distance is the hamlet of Trochry. A short distance further along is a track to the right, signposted Ballinlick. Walkers and cyclists can take this track straight up the hill, deep into the forest and over towards Aberfeldy, a distance of about 14 miles, and clearly marked on the interpretation board just up the track. Ballinlick was the scene of a scandalous murder in 1799 of the daughter of Farmer Brown. She went out to meet her lover, who subsequently killed her, went on trial in Perth, and more than probably was hanged. Since then, things have been pretty law-abiding, so have no fear. The house way up on the skyline above Ballinlick is Outfields of Logie, derelict for some time, but now restored. One of the last occupants had a preference for lying in bed and drinking whisky. He was noted for snuffing out his last candle before falling asleep, without recourse to actually getting up. He simply extinguished it by accurate firing of his gun. The road drops down to a T-junction, where we turn left over the River Bran. But if you were to carry on by foot, you would arrive at a wooden bridge over the small Ballinloan burn. You can see the substantial farm buildings at Ballinloan as you continue along this road, and this gives some indication of the productive farmlands here. This is a wonderful walk, via old birch woods beside the Ballinloan burn, into a glen reputed to be haunted by fairies. Or, with a map, you can follow the old military road up over the hill. From either track are visible a fascinating collection of now deserted old farm buildings. This area was once well inhabited, with a thriving village community, and indeed an inn. The size of the many farm buildings indicate just how prosperous the farming must have been here, and Kitty MacDonald, the inspiration for a much-loved hedgehog, spent her childhood close by. Kitty inspired Beatrix Potter. She had been a washerwoman for the Potter family when they spent their holidays at Dalgais close to Dunkeld. Kitty was at that time 83 years old, but Beatrix Potter recalled she was
waken and delightfully merry, a comical, round little old woman, as brown as a berry, and wears a multitude of petticoats and a white mutch. When she was 7 years old, she went to my uncle named Prince, who had a farm a mile up the water from Ballinloan, as a herd, and remained with him 8 years herding the cattle on the hills. Kitty must have had a frugal life always, but she dwelt on this early part as a time of positive privation. Apart from the hardship, she spoke with affection of the idyllic shepherd life in summer on the hills. They milked the ewes then, a thing a crofter would hardly condescend to do now. What did they live on? Oh, just meat and a little milk. And there were potatoes, but no money, neeps. The staple was evidently porridge. They would kill a sheep sometimes, or a stirk. She mentioned pigs as a source of satisfactory profit. They were content to wear the coarse worsted of their own flocks. Their scanty stock of hand-spun linen lasted practically a lifetime. According to old Kitty, Strathbran was populous once. Hundreds lived there. I could not get an exact idea, but they emigrated in a convoy to North America. My Uncle Prince's descendants are prosperous in California, and she'd had a letter last week. You will scarcely find a single family in this neighbourhood who have not relations over the sea. The old crofter farms will never return. When one considered the scanty, draggled crops grown in the bottoms of windy